Might have another swig. Why the hell not? Water. It's the best thing for you. It literally is the number one thing that our human body needs is water. Because our body lives on water. Hell, we even bathe in it. We even shit in it. And we also drink it and cook with it. Water is the most important thing we need. It helps keep the environment going. And especially for our human systems, we need water. Got to drink it religiously. It's good for you and it helps you go to the bathroom too. It helps you take a nice, healthy piss. Whether you stand up or you're sitting down, it helps you take a nice piss. It releases all that bodily fluid in your system when you're drinking water. But the thing is that what if I just go on the backwoods right now and I just find a little spring, you know, it's got this nice little beautiful tree, you got a deer, you know, sitting there, and you got the rabbits and the chipmunks, squirrels, and the little, the lollipop gill, the Oompa Loompas, or, whatever. You got Gumby and Pokey sitting over there, got all the fucking woodland creatures from South Park all sitting there, all happy, you know. You see this little spring and a nice little water fountain coming down, no pun intended. And this little fountain coming down. And then you realize once you enter this woods here, you see this little there's something glistening in the water there. Maybe it's the iron or the concoctions that's in the water that's doing it. So you just take your water bottle, you put it underneath, and it's about, what is it, a summer's day. It's about 80 degrees outside. It's hot out, and you want something to drink. So this little spring here, which is all clean, no toxins or anything involved. So you fill up your whole bottle, and you take the lid off. You start drinking it. It gives you bad gas for like a couple minutes, but then you realize that once you, I don't know, you fucking fall, break your neck or whatever, you don't get injured. It's the fountain of youth. You got the life for eternity, which is something in the world of biblical stories or just legends in general, is a particular place that people want to believe is real, but we don't know if it is or isn't. They say they found locations of where the fountain of youth is, but in reality, is there a location? I don't know. The fountain of youth to me is, well, no, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to get in trouble like I usually am. But this movie here, Jesus Christ almighty. So, we got this guy named Tommy who is a hard-working doctor, and he's on a mission to save the woman of his life, where most of the time I actually see him doing fucking scientific experiments on a goddamn monkey. So Tommy is on a mission to save the woman of his life. Then you have Tomas, who is a conquistador who's on a quest to fight for the Spaniards to uncover the truth of the Tree of Life, along with the Fountain of Youth, to see where it actually exists and where it beholds. But the thing is that Tommy has to travel through time to see the truth for architecture and morality and immortality, to see, will he uncover the answers that he is looking for to save the woman he absolutely loves. Only time can tell here. So, I wanted to check this movie out. I wanted to see what it's about. I was having a talk with somebody about this film, and I figured, you know what? I'll check this out. Because the thing is that Darren Aronofsky, whatever the fuck his name is, Darren Aronofsky. There you go. I finally said it right for once. Hip hip hooray! I'm special now. So Darren Aronofsky, the director of the movie, has gone on the way and done some pretty interesting stuff later on down the road. And the next three movies, the next three movies after this one, but beforehand, was Requiem for a Dream. But after Requiem for a Dream, we had this one. So I checked it out. And if you want to know my honest thoughts, I heard this movie is a little polarizing. As for my thought about it, I wasn't a fan of this film. I didn't really see the appeal at all. Because the thing is that, okay, positively, I like Hugh Jackman. He's a good actor. He's playing some pretty decent stuff as the years progress. But this is just one of those films to where it was mediocre at best. The role was decent. It was watchable for him, and he obviously brings believability into his role. What he's trying to achieve, what he's trying to accomplish, and what it is that he wants to set out. So I got to give Hugh Jackman credit for at least that for this movie. The conquistador section of the film, where he set off on a quest to find the main objective. Now, in the beginning elements to where that section of the movie was portraying, I liked the tone, I liked the mood, I liked how it was visually portrayed, and I liked how it was actually displaying something that you want to see done. I have to give the movie props for that, at least with the beginning part of that section. And visually, the movie looks spectacular. The visuals are remarkable. It's beautiful. It's atmospheric. It's admiring. It's mesmerizing. The film is beautiful to look at. I have to give credit there. And that's like the biggest thing about this film that I respect. It's very beautiful to look at. It's mesmerizing. It's a fucking screensaver, for Christ's sakes. When I say screensaver and the Tree of Life, which is two things that this film has in common, maybe it led up to something else that involves beautiful visuals and the concept of the Tree of Life. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But as for the negatives, the film is relatively boring in most aspects. Now, another thing that aggravated me is that there's two things going on at once in this movie. You have one story taking place in the present time, where it is a survival and a race against time to save your loved one from health issues. So there's a love romance connection there. Then on the other hand, you have this whole entire other story that's going on where it's a quest finding out and uncovering the truth. So it just boggled my mind. It was confusing because the thing is that you had one thing going from one place and you got going to another. So the thing at least I can say is from taking the two, it's a man traveling through time to save his love. Okay, I get that. But the thing is that for him traveling through time, all it is just he's sitting there, he's pulling out a book, and he's reading through medical files, and he's sitting there, meditating, practicing Buddhism or whatever. He's sitting there meditating, and it just goes into the section where it showcases this tree and this guy going through other dilemmas. I'm assuming it's him. It looks like a monk who got rejected from his monk brethrens, who got kicked out of Temple Kushi from Ghost of Tsushima. I don't fucking know. But the pacing itself and the story was just going back and forth. You had the love interest between the two people, the doctor who wants to save his love. Then you had the fucking conquistador thing that came off visually looking like a Lord of the Rings knockoff to me. Two different things, but the way it visually looked and how it was coming off was a fucking knockoff of Peter Jackson's piece of work. Now, the thing is that the visual is there. It is there, but it just goes back and forth. The camera work, it just goes back and forth from one scene to another. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was getting invested into one thing that was going on into another. I was watching two stories in the same fucking film, to wondering, okay, the fountain. Where's the connection? How is it connecting to? I didn't see it. I just couldn't place my finger or understand where it's connecting. It was two stories going on at once. It was just going back and forth. And it was really aggravating how that was going on. Like I said, I give credit. The actual performances are decent. The performances are decent. I gotta give Rachel Wise. I gotta give her credit. I gotta give Hugh Jackman credit. The performances were good. It was decent. They were decent. But the thing is that when it came to the present daytime, there was predictability, and it was unfortunate enough is that you knew what was going to happen. You knew what was going to succumb. I hate to say it, but that's just what was portrayed. Then you had the Conquistador scene that came off promising and looked different, but it just felt flat and just felt like that one motherfucker that, oh, what's his name, kicked that asshole into the ditch in 300. That's how it felt. You're falling into a bottomless pit and never coming out. That's when it came off. So, overall, the Fountain itself has two stories going on. One taking place in the present, the other is surrounding an urban legend in storytelling from the Bible about a mythical nature artifact. It's got good visuals, it's very atmospheric, the nature elements, however, it's confusing of putting the dots together of how the Tree of Life is being used as a cure. I understand it's showcasing the visual, mental aspects of Tommy reading through the books to find answers and meditating it. But while getting those, there was it was a whole different story taking place, and it should have been left as its own. If you want to do the fountain and use this as like a symbol or whatever, it could have at least stood to the present time. It could have at least stayed to that and work and focus on that being the symbolic factor of taking the Tree of Life or the Fountain of Youth, whatever the case may be, to use that and turn it into a believable story. Or on the other hand, you could have taken off the Conquistador legend or the fact that you're on a quest to find this particular artifact here and seeing if it's real and how it's going to save the Spaniards and how it's going to help the people through a troubled time. There's two different stories here that could have been great, that could have made this particular concept work. You had the symbolism, then you had the legendary tale from a particular time setting in history. So two stories there that just couldn't necessarily well fit together. So to sum up my particular rating for this film, I give it a 2 out of 5. That is all I can really say about The Fountain. I have nothing much more to say about this particular film. If you've seen The Fountain, if you liked it, talk about it. If you haven't seen it, well, if you want to see it for your own will, I don't give a shit. Go right ahead. But if you have seen it, if you like it or dislike it, go ahead, write down your favorite Darren Aronofsky film and all this other fucking nonsense. So with that being said, folks, that is my thoughts about this particular movie, and ciao for now.